you were talking about your car. It goes 5 Gs off the back, right? Can you get into like your origin story of how that even starts? How did you get into that?
Yeah. Okay. So, drag racing's been in my family ever since I was born. My grandfather kind of got involved in the sport. It's called NHRA, National Hot Rod Association. He got involved. He was in marketing and things like that. And so my uncle took a liking to it, and he decided to start his own Top Fuel team. It was called Bob Vandergriff Racing. And so his rookie year was, I think, the year before that I was born. Yeah, the year before I was born. So I grew up, going to the races, and not a lot of people knew what drag racing was, but I did. So I would go on the weekend and I'd go back to school, and they'd be like, "What'd you do over the weekend?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I went to the drag race." They're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, it's these cars." And then, it's like, it's so hard to explain. It's like, you just got to come with me next time. Just come with me and you'll see. So I eventually, I tried to stay out of it growing up. My parents tried to keep me out of it. They had me playing baseball. I played baseball through high school. My mom felt it was probably a little dangerous
I
to
was
drive
going
the
to
race
ask
cars.
you just that. I was like, Mom's was probably totally against it.
Yeah.
Her baby
but eventually,
in that thing.
Yeah. Eventually it got to a point where, I was old enough, and I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, you know what? You only live once, right? So take the opportunities that are given to you, take the chance. And my uncle was, he allowed me to pursue it. And it took me about 2-3 years to kind of get up to the professional level. You start in a car that's called a super comp car. It goes about 170 miles an hour in like 8 or 9 seconds.
Jeez.
And then I made the step up to what's called a top alcohol dragster. That goes 275 miles an hour.
That doesn't
Why
even
that
sound
naming
5
convention?
seconds.
right.
Yeah, why that naming convention? Is there a reason for
What do you mean? Wait,
for
what
that
did you say?
name?
So you said alcohol?
Yeah, top alcohol. So it runs on alcohol. So that instead of, it's
okay,
not
there you
gas, it's not your regular. So it's a top alcohol dragster. So it runs on alcohol. Okay. Not the alcohol we drink. It's
You learn something every day, Mike.
Yeah.
Man, my face right
But,
there, I was so like, what is he talking about? Okay.
We're like,
No.
that's a weird name to call that.
That sounds super dangerous.
Yeah,
like, going this fast and drinking? Okay.
Yo, so
yeah,
wait.
so
No, go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Finish it.
Wait, finish it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so top alcohol dragster. Okay, that goes 275 miles an hour in about 5.2 seconds.
So crazy.
And then you make the step up. That took me about a year. You make the step up to the professional level, in what's called a top fuel dragster. And the top fuel dragster is the quickest accelerating car on the planet. It goes 0 to 330 miles an hour in about 3.7 seconds.
Jesus.
So to put that in perspective, your average car goes 0 to 60 in like 5 or 6 seconds. I go 0 to 100 miles an hour in 0.8 seconds.
What?
8.
So it's the quick acceleration that's the thing, and then the speed part of it is at the end of the track, which is cool. So that's why it pulls 5 Gs. When you take off, it pulls 5 Gs because it's 0 to 100 in 0.8 seconds.
I have questions.
Okay,
oh my God.
Ask the questions.
So,
ask the questions.
So, like, was this, you got in the car first time, you felt the need for speed, you loved it, or were you freak out? I wanted to say the F word.
I have never said this before. I was terrified. When I first got in it. I'm not gonna kid you. You think that you just get in these things and you're like, you're gonna be all macho and it's gonna be great, But no, you're absolutely terrified, especially when I strapped into the top fuel car for the first time.
Yeah.
It was an organized shutoff. You go about 300 feet and you get off the gas. So, my first run, it was in Vegas, and we hit it. I went to 300 feet, let off, and I got out of the car, and I'm thinking to myself, am I absolutely insane for wanting to do this?
Yeah.
For wanting to do this and keep doing it. And I had to question myself, but eventually, you get used to it with all the runs you have, and then it turns into fun. Then once you get used to it, it's real fun.